Hello everyone, welcome to another Green Dragons Gaming Club. Without us, they never feel like winners. Without them, we couldn't look so good. So again, we're based out of Westchester, Pennsylvania. If you're in the South Jersey, northern Delaware, so Wilmington, Newark, Northeast Maryland, up as far as Allentown, I don't know, as far as Gainsburg, or someone who reached out to me from Bloomsburg, just do me a favor, reach out. We're always looking for like-minded individuals again, and we're looking for excuses to go play with our little toy soldiers. That's it. So now today we're going to actually have another 5,000 point game for the ninth age. So that still equates out to the old 2,500 points. We are using the new systems. Been hearing some things on the boards about people not converting over to the 1.2 system. Look, there's a lot of good things that are coming out of this. I mean, that's all I can say. So I'll try to point them out as we're going through this. But overall, I'm very happy. I mean, I remember playing 8th edition, 7th edition, 6th edition, 3rd edition, and for the way that the game has been progressing, for a lot of the things that they're doing, there are definitely some added benefits. So today is actually going to be a different opponent. It is going to be another Dread Elves versus the Dwarven Holds. I found this artwork online, and I really like GW artwork. As much as I hate and despise the company because of what they did to the game I love, I really did enjoy their artwork and their sculpts. But anyway, this is actually going to be a different player who I'm playing. It's not Dread Elves are not being played by Ryan. This is actually going to be played by a new player who I met. His name is Charles, and he is playing. He's trying to get ready for a tournament as well. It's a different tournament. So we just actually used the standard rules, which ended up being classic deployment, or whatever they're calling it now, and hold your ground. So again, whoever's going to have the units more banners or not more scoring units towards the center. And here's how the board looks. We actually had Ryan, who plays the other Dread Elf army in our group, turn around and set up the board. So we've got the hill on the upper left. That's a field with a kraken and a bolt thrower, and two ruins, a forest, a building. I think that's all he really put down. Now, I don't have a copy of his list. I don't have a copy of my list to really show you. Now, and this is the picture after Vanguards. So here's what happened. I'm going to go through his list from left to right, and then I'll go through mine real quick. Mine hasn't changed. He's got a Hydra. He has a unit of Acolytes with the Champion in it, and he's got a large unit of Corsairs with his General. That's got the more wounds he does, the better his armor save, and things like that. Then he's got a Bolt Thrower. He's got another Kraken, large unit of Spears with a BSB, another Bolt Thrower, another Kraken, and then he's got just behind that building there a unit of 5. What are they called now? Colwyn Knights. I don't know what they're called now, but Colwyn Knights. Another unit of 5 Acolytes and another Bolt Thrower. So overall, it's an interesting list. I like the Monster Mash. He's got the 2 bricks, big bricks and core. It's kind of light on shooting for a Dark Elf player, but he's got the 3 Bolt Throwers, which are definitely... I love the Bolt Throwers. The Elven Bolt Throwers, I've always enjoyed them. They're powerful. I mean, to have your choice of the single shot or the multi-shot and taking no risk of breaking yourself, or misfiring, I should say. I don't know. It's a good model. I think for the points, it's good. He's using his magic from the Acolytes alone, and it's a very unique way to play it. Now, he does have the banner that counts as a master, and in this army, so he's got a +2 to dispel, but because he's playing a dwarf, it's a +3 to dispel. The more I'm looking at it, the more I'm going, it's a very unique, a very different army list, especially compared to what I'm used to for the meta. And again, he's a new player, so hopefully it's going to change how I play, because he's from a completely different part of the country. And he actually decided to join us from Jersey. And then you've got so playing with his meta versus my meta, it opened my eyes to a couple things, and it definitely allowed me to see how my list performs against what other people are imagining, because I know how my army goes against Ryan. And that's it. So down below we have my Chucky Light. That's a Vengeance Seeker. 10 handgunners that have that are accurate, so they're guild crafted. 20 Deep Watch with my King and a Runesmith. I have the organ gun that's entrenched, the cannon, and then I put my my BSB and my engineer into my big block of spears. Then I've got the whole guardians, and then I've got a unit of 15 warriors, hand weapon shield with a champion. I've got my vanguarding great weapons, throwing weapons up in the woods, and I have 5. They're still called Rangers. 5 Rangers with crossbows. Now, I like this addition for the dwarves in terms of Rangers. I really think that what because of now what they're able to take point wise, I think it's a much more viable unit. I plan on taking them. I mean, a simple unit of 5 dwarves. I think it's very beneficial that way. The whole guardians, I still bite my tongue about them because it's a hit or miss unit, but I think if I'm going to go up against monsters, because monsters are my Achilles heel right now, I think I'm going to have to keep them in the list. And I think that the rest of the list is able to handle everything else. So the way we started placing is he started placing like the acolytes on the far right, and then his knights on the far right, and the not the bolt thrower, put something else down. He put on the right. And I looked at the board. I'm going, I'm not biting that. I'm just not taking his bait. And we were about 6 drops left. I was actually debating whether or not to drop my entire army or to go for another round. And I figured go for another round. He dropped the rest of his army. And as you see, he put his one big block of spears there in the middle, his other big block of Corsairs on the left-hand side. And it's different. Because he went first, it allowed me to kind of set up. And I put my spears where I did, thinking he'd have to turn around and come to me. And meanwhile, I've got my Deep Watch out there, and I just don't care about. And with the building protecting my flank, I don't care, because if he's not going to be able to deal with that unit of Deep Watch, even if he charges everything into them, I'm going to have 1 or 2 rounds with the Deep Watch, grinding out with my King. So I'm liking that. In which case, then I'll get my spears in, I'll get the bears in, I'll be able to shoot up the rest of his army. For whatever's not tied up with that unit of Deep Watch. And that was my game plan. That was my battle plan. Unfortunately, I did not ask him what his original game plan was, so I can't go over that with you. But because he did drop everything, leave me 6 drops, he got first turn. Instead of the black Dice of Doom, we had the red Dice of Doom. So he turned around, he got that breath weapon up over there during his magic phase. And that was it. He turned around and he was able to kill 1 dwarf over there. He killed 2 dwarfs there. And this is all from his bolt throwers. And he killed 2 of my handgunners. So really not overly, about average. You know, you're supposed to turn around and wound 50% of the times out of 6. That's 3. And then wound 1.2 or 1.5. So 1 to 2 wounds. And that he literally got 1 to 2 wounds on everything there. So now it's dwarves turn 1. Here's how the board looks after I turn around and I move up. And this really shows what he did. And I apologize for not having that picture earlier. So he moved up his acolytes. And I did try to charge with my unit of warriors. And I failed. And he moved up his knights. And he has his gargoyles actually in that one piece of terrain, that building looking piece of terrain that's actually ruins. And he's going, you know what? I'm going to turn around. He thought I was going to charge his gargoyles. I'm like, nope, I'm going to charge the knights. He's like, that's okay. I got this. Because he's striking first against them because they have great weapons. It doesn't make a difference. I'm initiative 2. But I only have a 5-up armor save. So he's hitting on 2s with the knights. He's wounding on 4s. So out of 5 knights with the champion, so that's 6 attacks. He should be hitting 5 times and then doing 2.5 wounds, and then he's got the cold one knights needing 4, or the cold ones themselves needing 4, so that's 5 wounding against. So that's a total of 4 wounds that he's expecting to be able to do, and I'm only going to, and I'm really not going to have much of an armor save. So I understand why he stood. Actually, he didn't have a choice because they're cold blooded, but I understand why he moved up the way he did, thinking it was a non-threat. That's it. Nothing else really happened over there. So let's see here. So during the shooting phase, my organ gun opened up on his kraken that's over there in the grass, and he forgot that we were calling that a field. Oops, that's all I can say is oops, because we definitely did call it, and I really felt bad afterwards. But fortunately, it was a poor round of shooting by the organ gun, because the organ gun turnaround only hit 4 times on the Kraken, because I rolled a low number of shots. I think I rolled like a 10 number of shots, so I hit 5 times, or hit 4 times. I wounded 2 out of 4, and then I got to re-roll those 2 that missed because it was in a field. So now I put 4 wounds on that. And there's that. And then my handgunners turn around and actually finish the job killing that Kraken, which is one less monster I have to worry about. Was not their intended target, but I do feel it was the right choice to make, because I figure if I take him out, then I can start doing some panic tests. And that's what I have worried about right now. Over here for the close combat, he whiffed. I already went through the math hammer. This is why I really do enjoy the game, because it comes down to Lady Luck. He whiffed. I lost 1 model to 4. That unit's going to break. They're going to overrun into the lovely Kraken sitting there right behind them. There's a picture of the other Kraken that disappeared. So right now, he's short his knights. He's short a Kraken. So the plus side's to me currently. So now it's Dread Elf's turn 2. And here's how the board basically looks. Is he actually turns around. He moves up into the piece of terrain. He charged my Rangers on the far side. Do I have anything else? No. No, that's basically it. That's how everything looks. The gargoyles actually fled from the knights being destroyed, but he rallies them this turn, and he resets up his spear elves so that they're have more ranks. And this is it's a good move. So he did a swift reform. I don't remember if he moved up or back at all, but he does a swift reform, and it's a good move because he's staring at my block of dwarves. And the way it probably is going to be set up is I'm going to be able to turn around, get in to possibly get into his spear elves, and his other unit of Corsairs may or may not be able to get in. It all depends as to what happens. So this is how the board looks. During magic phase, he turns around, he gets his breath weapon off, and then he breathes as bad breath onto Chucky Light. Over here, he manages to kill another couple of warriors. He kills 2 from shooting, and over here, that's 1 dead unit. that's all I'm going to say. 1 dead unit. Over here against the Kraken, he whiffed again. I really was feeling bad. So we turn around, and I need 5s to hit this Kraken. Distracting, hard target, wonderful rule, especially for a T5 critter with stomps. That thing's designed to go after infantry. It's designed to go after monstrous infantry. It's designed to go after characters. Alright. It's now leadership 8 by itself. And so I like the Kraken. I really like the Kraken. Unfortunately, he whipped. He only killed 3 of my guys. I charged in, did 2 wounds. We bounce. Just flat out, we bounce. And that's what happened there. Then his stomp turns around and comes. Oh no, this is this is the next turn. Um, Sorry for missing a few pictures there. I greatly apologize. But the next close combat, because nothing else really happened in between, he kills 3 of mine. My 1 warrior is still there, and his Kraken's now down to 1 wound. And the 2 of us are going, I can't believe that unit is still alive, much less doing anything else. And the one important thing to note, which I did not share a picture with, is I got a big charge off into the right there into the unit of his spears, and that's it. Now, if you notice, the Hydra is not currently there right now. I did shoot it. I put a few wounds on it, but it's going to, from this combat, this was a brutal combat. So again, I apologize for not having all my pictures. I don't know why. I have no excuse to that. So we figured out I had to do 17 wounds in order to turn around and to be on the same setup for number of ranks. So let's count them up. That's 10 from all Whole Guardians, because there's 9 with a unit champ. I have 2 from the Runesmith. I have 4 from Dominic the Donkey, which is the throne. And then another 4 from the King. So that's 10, 12, 16, only 18 attacks, and I have to do 17 wounds. I did 17 wounds. It was brutal. I missed with 1 hit. All I missed with was 1 hit. Everything wounded. And granted, yes, I had hatred. That did help. And it was brutal. I was not expecting that unit to break. But because I did 17 wounds on the charge, that unit auto-broke. So Dread Elves turn 3. Here's now finally a picture of the board. He had moved his big unit of Corsairs closer to that building. And I didn't think his unit was going to break. I really didn't think those elves, that big block of spears, was going to break. Because there were too many of them. There's no way around it. There were just too many. So I turned around, I got the charge. With me getting that charge, I was expecting to stay there and then have them in a flank. I ran up my marksman, my guild-crafted marksman, to chaff him up since he had killed Chucky. Originally, Chucky was going to be over there. And I don't know. That's it. Meanwhile, we've got the Kraken up there, up at the top. And let's see. So this is now Dread Elf's turn. He moved up his gargoyles. Yeah, I got nothing else really to explain. So he turns around and magic phase. During his magic phase, he fires their 2d6 strength 5 at my organ gun. He does 2 wounds, but suffers a miscast and kills 3 of his own models. I'll take it. Gladly, I'll take it. And then turn around, does it again. This time this is from bolt throws, I think. Puts another 2 wounds on my organ gun, which is still kicking at this point, and puts 1 wound on the cannon. Now, they misfired, or they suffered a miscast as well. So he had 2 miscasts this game, and that only killed 2 of his models. But they fled from the closest model, which was the organ gun, or not the organ gun, the cannon, and that's why they're going in that direction. Then he finally turned around, finally polished off the organ gun. Over there for this combat, yeah, he eats them. And I ended up with 3 left, with 3 dwarves left. He runs them down. The thing is because of how he's set up, he runs off to the left. So he's going between the building and the ruinous terrain. Over here, the Kraken finally kills it, but there are my Hole Guardians, aka my Dwarves on Bears. So now it's Dwarves turn 3. My Dwarves on Bears charge in. I fail to wound. Strength 6, needing 3s, 5s to hit, but I get to re-roll the hits. And I whiffed big. All I knew was one. I rolled a 5 for my leadership, which is exactly what I needed. Because he did 6 wounds, and I had a charge, and that was it. So I needed a 5, because my king had 18-inch range. And he did rally his Spear Elves, which turn around, they got hit again by the Deep Watch, and ran. The Bolt Thrower off there in that screen actually chooses the Panic. So now it's Dread Elves turn 4. He charges the cannon with his 2 remaining Acolytes and the Gargoyles. Nothing I can do about it. And the problem is that he hits automatically. But I'm still Toughness 4. He's Strength 4 on the Acolytes, but everything else is T3 or Strength 3. So I'm still getting a 6-up or a 5-up armor save. And my cannon is still there. He only does manage to do 2 wounds to my cannon this turn. So now it's Dwarven Hole's turn 4. My Chucky, which I had actually figured he was going to charge that way, charges in, hits the Gargoyles in the rear. My Spear Dwarves go in against the one Bolt Thrower. My other unit of Dwarves going against the other Bolt Thrower. So this combat, as I said, he had already put 2 wounds. I suffered a misfire the first turn, so I took a wound there. His Acolytes kill the cannon. It's flat out kill it. My Chucky kills all the Gargoyles. So he does 2 wounds to my 4 wounds and a charge. So while I'm up by 3, the Acolytes are going to break. They flee off the board. The cannon is dead, but that's still a bigger swing, and I'll take that any day of the week. So now it's Dread Elves turn 5. His Kraken turns around and tries to charge the Warriors in either the flank or rear. And, yeah, no, he failed. He rolled like a 2 or 3 for that charge. Again, my heart was going out for my opponent. He just wasn't having any luck. That's it. He managed to put 2 wounds onto my Engineer, and now it's Dwarven Hole's turn 5. My Runesmith charges out of the unit and into the Bolt Thrower. My Dwarves turn around and pardon me. My Clan Warriors turn around and finally destroy the one Bolt Thrower up the top of the screen. And I put my Engineer nearly back to back with my Chucky Light, so the Vengeance Seeker. Close combat. I managed to get them. Over here, he suffers another miscast, only puts 2 wounds onto my Vengeance Seeker, and takes another 2 wounds for his troubles. They don't flee, but it's just not looking too good for them. So now it's turn 6. So let's go back a few picks here, because there are no more pictures after that one. He looks at the board. He's got the 1 Acolyte left. His Kraken takes out the Warriors and easily kills the Warriors. That just leaves his big combat block of Corsairs versus Dwarven Holes and Dwarves on Spears, both of which with characters in them. He looks at it and goes, that's it. That's game. We start calling it after that because he backs up his Corsairs. There's just nothing else to do. So, end result is a Dwarven's Hold victory. It would have been a 15-5, but because of secondary objectives, it becomes an 18-2. So, to me, now this is my choice, and I actually could have made different choices. For the Dread Elves, the Kraken, because the Kraken took out the Bears, that's 330 points, and it should have died. It took out my unit of Vanguarding Warriors, which was another 240. Pardon me. And then managed to take out my other unit of, what were they? The other unit of warriors, so that's another 280. So to me, Kraken's the MVP for the Dread Elves, won its points. Could have made the argument for the Acolytes. The problem is it was 335 for the Organ Gun, 270 for the Cannon. It's only 500 points. That one single Kraken did more. Now for the Deep Watch, could have said the Organ Gun for turnaround and doing the wounds to what it did. But really, that Deep Watch turnaround took out the Spearman, which case the Hydra fled and ran off the board. At the same time, I could have put my vote for the the Clan Warriors with great weapons, who took out the Warriors and did 4 wounds. Yeah, did 4 wounds to a Kraken. Just couldn't do that one last wound to that Kraken. But overall, just very happy with how my army performed. I do have smashing in there, which is why he really didn't want to go up, take his Kraken up against my block of spears. And I was thinking about this in the game. I'm still thinking about it now. I think he still should have done that, because then he's hitting first. If he's able to hit and able to wound my BSB with the Kraken, he's got a 33% chance with a single hit to kill my character with no attacks back. However, the toss side is if he fails to kill my BSB did have Rune of Smashing, so it would have been Strength 10 against the Kraken. So I would have been needing 4, or actually no, I would have been needing 3s to hit him, because he actually has the +1 to hit, as well as Smashing. But can't say he misplayed that, but that's why he did not. Maybe he did. That did not want to go into my Clan Warriors with my BSB in there. Well, that's it. Thank you so much. Again, if you're in the area, please reach out to me. I still plan on going to the Quest for the Grail in North Carolina at the beginning of next month. So as late as it is right now, it's almost 11 o'clock. I'm going to try to put some paint on some models and then off to bed. So thank you so much, and until next time, hopefully we'll have some more painted units on the board. Bye!